If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe, and also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Welcome to Skiba News Nation, bringing you unfiltered views, news, interviews, discussions, and more. And now, here's your host, Jeremiah Skiba, award-winning musician and son of Rob Skiba.
With the son of the legendary Rob Skiba. Jeremiah Skiba, what's up?
With my great and insightful co-host, Mr. Jake Graham.
Dude, someone should do conspiracy news. It would be 10 times better than what you see on television.
It's like I don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.
Hey, Skiba News Nation family. Welcome to episode 143 of Skiba News Nation, your weekly source for the latest news, controversial topics, conspiracies, forgotten history, and so much more. I'm your host, Jeremiah Skiba, and today we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. Now I'd like to introduce my co-host, Jake Graham. Welcome, Jake. How's it going?
Hey, going pretty good. How you doing, Jeremiah?
So far, so good. As Zippo would say, upright. I'm stealing his line, but had a good,
Hey, howdy, hey.
good couple days. We got some good current news for me today.
Yeah, we got some news, guys. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we got a lot of clips to rummage through here real quick. We're going to start off with President Trump and a video address after 2 National Guard troops were shot in D.C. Here we go.
Successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never
we don't
yield
wanna.
in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these two patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer.
All right. Your thoughts, gentlemen, on the shooting there and the National Guard being sent to the Capitol?
I think it's just sad, the fact that, somebody would go up and kill somebody that's protecting our country. And then we had a threat out here in DFW somewhat recently, and I mean, it's just creepy. It really makes you think, like, do we really know the people that are around us? So it makes you, subconsciously be on alert,
Yeah, so, all of the problems that we've been having had so far been up to the east and northeast and what have you. Got a nice cat going through there. And, the fact that all of a sudden something cropped up right down in our back door, just, 20 miles away from us, now it's scary. Now to us, it's scary because now it's spreading.
So what's happened nearby you guys?
Well, they caught a guy, they caught a guy who was making bombs. He had actually was brazen enough to get on, was it TikTok, Jeremiah? Yeah, he was on TikTok, and he basically said that he was building bombs and he was going to blow up something in Fort Worth, Texas. And they managed to trace him and catch him. And he had all kinds of hate stuff out on the internet.
Yeah, we're seeing a common thread with this clash of those who are being painted as hostile immigrants and national security forces like ICE and the National Guard. And speaking of illegal aliens, check out this next clip of Jim Breuer talking about a different type of alien invasion.
This again?
So,
Yeah.
the guy who directed Ready Player One,
Ready Player One, he directed it, yeah.
he created a documentary
Right.
on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
and it's about aliens
Right.
and how the government knows there's aliens and we have the technology.
Right.
And it's about the race, the Cold War race, to see who can reverse engineer alien technology the quickest.
You know what it sounds like to me? What they've been saying for years? How to really roll in the New World Order? The alien invasion. And when the aliens invade, we shall unite as humanity under one government. What do you think Maui was? Oh yeah, the fire out of nowhere. Lasers don't exist. Jim's a conspiracy theorist. Am I now, sire? Here come the aliens. It's all just a deflection. Oh, could it be a deflection from certain things?
Did
Never.
you see what he
Guess
showed?
we'll never know.
Yeah.
That was a good bit, man. You know, it's just it's so interesting that you can see the censorship happening live regarding certain topics, and and the problem is you're automatically put in one box or another. If you say, "Hey, I don't like being censored," they're like, "Oh, you must be saying naughty words." But the truth is you could just be speaking the truth or wanting the truth, and because you're not going with this mainstream groupthink narrative, then it's not acceptable how you're acting, But what do you guys think?
I think it was pretty great. I like the walk by kind of casually, that's why. It's pretty funny.
Did a great job.
Yeah, I love Jim Breuer. His comedy is very like Looney Tunes-esque. It reminds me of my uncle.
Yeah, by the way, I would love to have comedians this year instead of musicians for TrutherCon 2026. What do you think about that?
Yeah, we'd have to get some really good like conspiracy comedians showing up. That'd be cool.
I'm working on it.
Cool. Well, here's this next clip. MrBeast is announcing a partnership with the Rockefeller Foundation. Dun dun dun.
See MrBeast throwing up the devil signs as he announces his partnership with the Rockefeller Foundation. Let's have a little listen here.
Hi, I'm Rod Shaw, president of the Rockefeller Foundation. I'm here today with Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast. We're going to take that to the next level together, and we couldn't be more excited. Thank you.
All right, look, I'd just like to start out by saying you don't get to the level of fame that MrBeast does in this world. You're not trending on YouTube every single day unless you signed on the dotted line. Unless you're a part of the globalist, satanic agenda. I mean, they must just think that the world is stupid because they're constantly throwing up this symbolism in our faces to let us know who they are and what they represent. I mean, the dude's name is literally MrBeast. It's like Monster Energy when it's like Unleash the Beast. These symbols in Hebrew, they're sixes. 666, Monster Energy, Unleash the Beast. These things are done on purpose to let you know, again, who they are.
It is interesting, MrBeast is this massive YouTuber, the biggest YouTuber ever, and you're seeing his gamified style of television really catching on with the next generation. I couldn't help but to notice, like, after I saw this partnership with the Rockefeller Foundation, right? Just coming out today was this video. He was made a theme park, right? Beastland.
Hey guys, MrBeast here. What up? It's your boy.
The theme park is, all of his different games and, I'm sure they have a lot of fun things there. Literally, they're giving away prizes. It's kind of like an arcade where if you get points, but look at this. If you stay and score the most points in this park starting now over the next 45 days, then you win 1 million of the currency of wherever this theme park is. But yeah, man. So, what do you think about Mr. Beast? I mean, he's such a philanthropic, he likes to give away a lot of money, and he becomes this like icon in our culture. It's so interesting.
I mean, I personally don't know how he's famous. I don't really like his channel, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't like that. He's basically doing Squid Games, but like to real people. So I wouldn't be surprised if some dark stuff comes out about Mr. Beast and like he's got kids trapped in his basement or something. Like, I would not be surprised. I'm not saying that. This is my imagination, because if you have a name like Mr. Beast, I mean, but then again, I look at that video and I see him doing the rock and roll hands, and I'm like, okay, everybody's done that once in their life. And I've probably been pictured doing that because it used to mean rock and roll, So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's a double-edged sword. It's a sword.
Yeah, because the same claims they're making against him, people make against everybody about holding up your hands or whatever. The way he gets away with having kids chained to the floor in his basement is he films it and he gives the winner a prize. It's basically like. It's like Willy Wonka.
It's a slave
basically,
world
he's
after all.
Oh man,
it's a slave world after all.
Talking about strange videos and pop culture merges. Here's a Beeple's Animal Farm, Art Basel, Miami AI robot. Check this out.
Is that Elon's head?
That's Elon's head on an AI robot's body. Jeff Bezos.
Oh, Dr. Evil, you mean? Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. I don't know who that guy is. It's so weird looking.
I want to puppy
oh yeah. Now check out this It's Ginger Theory channel. Shout out from Skiba News Nation. You guys go drop a hey from us and say we said hello. Anyways, It's Ginger Theory has been popping up on my feed. I really enjoy some of her content and what she's covering. Check this out.
Marvin Minsky was known as the father of AI. He was born in New York City to two Jewish Zionists. He had been working with AI since as early as 1949. He received a $100,000 research grant in 2002 from Jeffrey Epstein while working at MIT. Minsky hosted two academic parties at Epstein's Island, one in 2002 before the public knew about Epstein, and one in 2011 after he had been outed as a predator. So yeah, Marvin knew what he did, and he actually took part. Virginia Giuffre named Minsky specifically in her lawsuit against Maxwell and said that she was forced to have sex with him on several different occasions by Maxwell and Epstein. Epstein and Minsky were both obsessed with AI, transhumanism, and cryopreservation. Minsky was cryopreserved after his death in 2016. Epstein and Maxwell knew a lot of politicians, but they also knew a lot of scientists like Marvin. Epstein was also an associate of Joy Ito, the director of MIT's Media Lab, and Epstein funded the lab's digital currency initiative, which is where Bitcoin originated. Peter Thiel was an early investor in Bitcoin through his foundation Founders Fund, which eventually bought Bitcoin in 2014. Epstein pitched investment ideas with Ehud Barak and Peter Thiel. Ehud Barak, Peter Thiel, and Epstein walk into a bar. But then they turn around because there's no minors there. MIT wasn't the only school that Epstein was involved with. He spent at least $30 million across institutions such as Harvard, where he was actually given an on-campus office with a key card, a phone line, everything. At Princeton University, he was involved in theoretical biology and hosted faculty dinners. He funded projects and or faculty at University of Pennsylvania, NYU, Columbia, UCLA, Santa Fe Institute, Caltech, Rockefeller University, and Western Washington University.
Interesting connections. Oh, man. In the kind of the public sphere, there's somebody that I've run into over the years, Matt Long, who went to a city council meeting, it looks like, and he's speaking on the spiritual implications of forsaking our land in the name of technology. But just because I've met this guy in real life, I know he used to, I think, work with Dave Weiss some, and interesting guy. Met him at the Flat Earth conferences, and check this out.
Yes, sir.
Matt Long in Precinct 2, thank you, Nanette, for being my representative on this court. Since it's close to Thanksgiving, I want to talk a little about what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful to be able to address my public officials while it's still legal. I'm thankful to be able to stand here in real life before the robots take over and we're only allowed to travel around in the metaverse. And I am thankful for the people that I've witnessed over the last few months come up here and give reason after reason why we should not support the ravaging of our landscape just because big tech comes in and says they like what they see. They like the parameters of our land. Hood County fits into their formula. I share all the concerns from the people I've heard before me. I share the concerns of the people that were in my living room 2 nights ago. But my main concern is the spiritual implication of forsaking our land and our sovereignty in the name of technology. Do we understand that people are using AI right now? People are using ChatGPT, and they're doing this without any new data centers in Hood County. That's not what these data centers are going to be used for. The number of data centers and the amount of computing power that's currently being deployed across the United States is so astronomical that the only explanation is that they're preparing for a fundamental evolution in the way that our lives are governed and monitored. We've seen Palantir working with our Department of Defense, our Department of Homeland Security, and they've begun collecting vast amounts of personal data into a single database to identify patterns using AI on Americans. So if we think that the answer is more control and not less, more tracking, not less, if we think the answer to our security problems is delivering more of our personal information to be stored for infinity, then by all means, let's rip up the trees, let's drain the rivers, let's disturb the ecosystems, because robots don't need that kind of stuff. Because that's what we're becoming. We're becoming robots. Doers, not thinkers, operating only in the present, only in the flesh, not thinking about the future, not thinking about our children, and certainly not considering the spirit. In Romans 1, it says that we can get to know the Creator through the things that were made, through the creation. And according to John 1, Hebrews 1, and Colossians 1, Jesus is the creator of all things. So if we can get to know the Savior Creator through the creation, then of course, there's going to be an evil agenda to dilute, to corrupt, and destroy what that creation is. So I've got a few questions. Do we think that taking thousands of acres of land and turning them into AI data hubs is moving Hood County closer to the original creation or further away? Do we think that negotiating tax breaks with Google, Meta, and Amazon is closer to making a covenant with God or making a deal with the devil? And do we think that developing enough digital storage space to track our every movement and every purchase is bringing us closer to Genesis, or is it bringing us closer to Revelation? Ladies and gentlemen, our water, our air, our land, our way of life, and our children's health are being threatened by an outside force. We don't need a law on the books to stand against that. We just say no, not in Hood County. Fortunately, we do have something, and we do not have to start a revolution thanks to Subchapter K. Subchapter K is, in fact, an obvious, appropriate, and applicable way to regulate these facilities out of feasibility. This is not an interpretation. This is a fact based on a simple reading. It is a literal tool of divine providence that we have at our disposal for such a time as this. And if the commissioners and representatives of Hood County will not step up in the face of oppression, in the face of a corporate invasion, then I believe the men of Hood County will be forced to. Thank you.
Interesting. So, well said, Matt. Yeah, it's important to see people stepping up and speaking important things like that. Especially, I think in his situation, they live just a few miles from where these data centers are going to be put in, and I know they're being put in all over the place. One place being like down there near you in Abilene, Texas, and several other locations where they're putting in these data centers.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for it.
Yeah, they're getting all that big moolah from Google and Amazon to bring them into these small town suburbs. Well, why do they need these data centers, you guys might ask? Well, let me demonstrate the technology that these number crunchers are required for. Check this out. Now, do you see that? Apple Vision Pro letting you put a skin on your reality as you walk around. I know Meta glasses and Oakley Metas and all the different AI glasses are super big this year, Black Friday sales and whatnot. But just the ability to walk in and you know, change your environment. Very, very interesting. Anyways, check out France's paraded demon hybrids in broad daylight. They're not even hiding it anymore. This is a recent parade in France.
Ni l'ânesse, ni de Satan, je suis Lilith. La dernière, je resterai jusqu'à la fin des temps. Dans vos nuits, ni dans vos rêves, je suis Lilith. La guerrière, je brise les ailes du vent. Je ne crois en rien, je dévore le soleil, j'avale la lumière, je fracasse le mur du temps. Je suis Lilith.
Sombre n'a pas de nom, pas d'origine. Ses yeux sont transparents.
And then obviously you see the Minotaur, which is also reminiscent of Baal worship, which we discussed in one of my previous videos, but also an ancient false god.
Couleur de l'eau. Ses yeux sont un miroir. De lune d'argent froid où je me noie, où je me perds.
What is the moaning? Why does it need to moan?
Le néant la précède et le vide la suit. Le néant la précède et le vide la suit. Tout se plie, tout se courbe. Elle danse dans l'ombre des pierres. Son silence est noir.
France putting on these big parade spectacles. I know we have in the States the Macy's Day Parade. I mean, you know, we put our big blow-up things and go down the street and represent what our culture is about, our holiday system here.
Krampus in the streets. I will say, our Macy's Day Parade...
Oh, no, that's McDonald's, sorry.
Our Macy's Day Parade was so bad, it looked like it was being filmed on somebody's iPad. Like iPod, or an iPod Shuffle. I don't even know if those had a camera. but somebody's iPhone was
Oh, yeah.
recording the Macy's Day Parade, and there was not one balloon, and I was so upset.
The only thing that sticks the Macy's Day Parade in my mind is that scene from one of the OG Spider-Man movies. It's like Spider-Man with Maguire.
Tobey Maguire? Yeah.
Tobey Maguire. Oh, yeah.
Sure.
The Green Goblin shows up. Yeah, that scene was just iconic.
I think the Macy's thing was because, Macy's, like a lot of other businesses, are having financial problems. So, they probably had to cut way back on their involvement in putting together the Macy's parade. I just wonder how much it costs the French for those particular, what do you call them, floats or whatever they are, robots.
It costs your soul.
Yeah, I bet you that's a good way to track the conspiracy down, is find where the money flow is coming from. Like, who finances that giant harlot scorpion creature and the giant minotaur beast? It comes directly from the Rockefeller Foundation. It's like, oh, really? Okay, that's how we'll find out. Thank you, Mr. Beast, for your beastly display. Well, I showed that whole segment with the crowd following these big icons and bringing up the Macy's Day Parade and the cultural topic of the holidays and all of our icons, because I wanted to show this next clip, which is how following the crowd sometimes can steal your very soul. Check out this clip.
The philosopher Soren Kierkegaard once famously said, "The crowd is untruth." He believed that whenever we surrender our thinking to the majority, something essential in us disappears. He called that lost thing the single individual. He saw how easily people dissolve when they're in a crowd. They say things they do not mean, share things they do not believe, and act with a feeling like they are not responsible for what they do. In a crowd, the self becomes smaller. Kierkegaard said that when individuals form into a crowd, they become unrepentant. They stop questioning themselves. This is how lies spread, through people that never stop to think whether they are repeating truth or misinformation. He warned us that this loss of individuality is not just social, it is spiritual. He said that truth cannot live in a crowd because the crowd always follows comfort. Truth demands something harder from us. It demands that a person stands alone, answers for their own beliefs, and acts as if no one else can take that burden for them. It takes courage to be a single individual because the crowd always offers the easier path. When you stand apart, you feel exposed. That exposure is what Kierkegaard calls the beginning of truth for us. He believed the real understanding starts when you stop asking, what do people think? And start asking, what do I know to be right? Many people today live inside that crowd that Kierkegaard spoke about. And afterward, they feel empty. They have spoken all day, but nothing substantial, nothing real. Kierkegaard believed that the most dangerous place to lose your soul is in the crowd. The philosopher Soren Kierkegaard once famously...
Wow. So, you got to ask yourself, in what way do I follow the crowd in my thinking, in my culture, and whatever? And I think you can find some very enlightening truths. But with that said, the reason it's so important to always question if you are in that deadly place of following the flow of the crowd is because of these very things we see are being introduced to the world at an alarming rate. Check this out.
It's like, we shouldn't be paying any attention. It's a billionaires' boys club as arranging the world to shift wealth upward and to clamp down totalitarian controls on everybody else. And now they got the capacity to do it. They got all these countries running around doing what they tell them to do. It's astonishing to me that, these people go to Davos in their private jets.
Yes.
And they're able to tell these world leaders, how to govern us in ways that eradicate our constitutional and civil rights and constantly shifting wealth. I mean, COVID, we shifted $4 trillion of wealth upward. We closed all the little guys.
Yeah.
Was open, and Google, and they're all colluding with each other to censor the people who are like me who are complaining about it.
It is the end of human history.
not the end of history, the end of human-dominated history. History will continue with somebody else in control. If it was a question of, humankind versus a common threat of these new intelligent alien agents here on Earth, then yes, I think that there are ways we can contain them. But if the humans are divided among themselves and are in an arms race, then it becomes almost impossible to contain this alien intelligence. And there is, I'm tending to think of it more in terms of really an alien invasion. That like somebody coming and telling us that, there is a fleet, an alien fleet of spaceships coming from planet Zircon or whatever, with highly intelligent beings. They'll be here in 5 years and take over the planet. Maybe they'll be nice. Maybe they'll solve cancer and climate change, but we are not sure. This is what we are facing, except that the aliens are not coming in spaceships from planet Zircon. They're coming from the laboratory. Atom bombs didn't have a potential for agency. Printing presses did not have a potential for agency. This thing, again, unless we contain it, and the problem of containing it is very difficult because potentially they'll be more intelligent than us. How do you prevent something more intelligent than you from developing the agency it has? I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's very, very difficult.
Maybe in a couple of decades, Earth will be populated or even dominated by entities that are not organic, that they don't breathe, they don't have emotions. Like the potential of AI is much, much bigger than any historical revolution.
How is this transition going to happen? I mean, I totally agree that the world order, the way it is built today, doesn't make any sense. That is not in line with the economic powers like India, Brazil, or Germany. That they don't have a massive role in the international order. But to me, the big question is: so how we are going to go through this transformation? It cannot be gradual. It has to be driven by a certain shock that will happen. So now we will reconsider this entire.
No. So if your question is that this period could be turbulent, could have violence, could have conflicts, we are already living it.
Yeah.
I think the last 5 or 6 years tell us that we are going through a rather turbulent phase.
Mm-hmm.
We have lost a large part of humankind to the pandemic because we were all selfish. We were not willing to share. We were not willing to use the global institutions to deliver responses to different parts of the world. We have lost people. Now, how much more bloodshed do we need to understand that the transition is upon us?
But if 1 billion people stop eating meat, I tell you, it has a big impact.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling?
Listen
what
to
are
this.
They eating? What are they consuming on the platform?
Climate change is caused for 20% by meat and dairy. So the producers of meat and dairy should pay for the damage they cause.
The coffee that we all drink emits between 15 and 20 tons of CO2 per ton of coffee. Every time we drink coffee, we are basically putting CO2 into the atmosphere.
And I predict that we will have proteins not coming from meat in the future. They will probably taste even better. So why are we trying to mimic meat if we can have a better taste?
The Davos crowd, the World Economic Forum, the global resetters of Klaus Schwab fame, are very much, of course, in the mix in all of this. How would you characterize them, and is their agenda really any different in terms of that end state of sort of comprehensive global governance under, of course, their rule?
When you look at the founder and the leader of this entity, Klaus Schwab, he's been frankly pretty transparent about his view of the way the system should work. He calls it stakeholder capitalism, where instead of having companies that are owned by people serving the interests of shareholders by satisfying the needs and the wants of customers, which is the essence of a free market system. You have to produce what people want better or cheaper or with more diverse options than your competitors. And this results, of course, in a massive production of wealth. So Klaus Schwab has publicly articulated a radical restructuring of that system to what he calls stakeholder capitalism, where all the different stakeholders would have a stake and a say in the operation of that company. And it sounds very sophisticated and very complicated, and I think it's meant to intimidate normal people. But when you actually boil it down to its essence, it is really just fascism. You're talking about, when he lists the stakeholders, the first one he mentions repeatedly is governments. So companies then should serve the interests of governments. And actually, that's exactly what Benito Mussolini outlined when he described fascism as the merger of state and corporate power. Sometimes they call it a public-private partnership. And so the World Economic Forum played an instrumental role in bringing communist China to the state it's at now. Obviously, Marxism, communism, they just destroy massive amounts of wealth. And so the communists in Beijing, working with the communists in Davos, the Marxists, the fascists in Davos, figured out, hey, we've got to change this a little bit. We've got to reintroduce some market mechanisms like pricing, like resource allocation based on certain market forces. But it wasn't because they wanted more productivity or whatever. It was because they wanted to make this totalitarian system more able to, first of all, sustain itself and then able to infect the rest of the world. So you see Klaus Schwab openly cooperating with the mass murdering regime in Beijing. And at first that doesn't make sense to people. You see Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum signing a strategic partnership with the United Nations for the implementation of UN 2030 agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals, which is basically just global communism, global tyranny, global fascism. And at first that doesn't make sense. You see Klaus Schwab with a bust of Vladimir Lenin in his office. And at first that doesn't make sense. But I think we have to get past the artificial divisions that have been created in our minds between the different types of totalitarians and recognize they are all united on the broader vision, which is the subjection of the individual and the nation to this broader master plan that they have that they think is superior to the decisions we could make as individuals or that we could make as nations. So Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum are an absolutely integral part of the globalist movement, and I'm glad we're having an opportunity to talk about them.
All right, so we just have just two more clips here for you guys. I think this next one ties in really nicely with what we covered in our live stream this past weekend, and it's about the black noise or the frequency that allows things to be destroyed. And we had this funny clip of the Pope kind of doing a DJ thing, and then you had the Venezuelan president saying, no war, peace, yeah, and dancing to music. And then we had like the biblical segment of like Joshua's attack on Jericho, and the walls come crumbling down, right? Well, it's all tied to this understanding of how like there's this black noise and frequency that can just crumble matter if it hits this right key, and that almost everything might have this particular frequency that deconstructs its structure. So I thought it kind of connected with what we covered that week.
Destroy a city, or even more. I mean, this is it's a radio tomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HARP uses 1 billion watts beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we say that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you with 1 billion watts, the vibrations are so violent that the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could be so severe underground that could even cause an earthquake.
Ooh, interesting. So, as we talk about the way that they identify these heavy minerals, these heavy metals in the earth, and they survey, it reminds me of what we covered with the pyramids recently and how they were able to look underground and see these structures. And I believe it was this type of technology that they were claiming to use. And it makes me wonder, what other crazy subterranean compositions have they discovered across the earth? And with that, we have one last real fun news story for this week, which was drone video capturing a group of polar bears moving into an abandoned station in Russia. So don't get sent to the gulag, because you'll be sleeping with the polars. They're like in the houses.
Looks just like our white cat, Juliet. I swear, that polar bear.
Man, yeah. They got a lot of polar bears there, man.
Yep. They sure do.
Well, yeah, that's all the little clips for this week, guys.
All right, Jake, thank you for another great current news as always. And don't go anywhere, guys. We still have a great Opus Corner and History's Mysteries coming up soon. But now a quick look at my new book, Charlie's Big Adventures Around the World or Not. Something in the mail today. When I open it up, see what it is. Look at that. Charlie, look at this. Look. It's you. Charlie's Big Adventures Around the World. We're gonna flip through it. Look at all that. Look at that thing.
Here they are.
To Danny's boy. So now if you guys buy this in our Babylon Rising bookstore, you get a free signed copy for the same price. So I just wanted to throw that out there. If you guys want a special edition of the book, go there.
Check out our new and improved BabylonRisingBooks.com, where you can get Rob Skiba's books, bundles, DVDs, DVD-ROMs, videos, and so much more. You can even get Sheila and Jeremiah's books, so check it out now.
It's about that time for an all-new Opus Corner. Take it away, Opa.
Hi everybody, and I normally have to do about 50 takes before I can finally get an Opus Corner right. So this is going to be extremely interesting doing it live. So let's get started, I guess.
Woo. The strange, the bizarre, the unexpected. These are the kinds of subjects a man named Robert L. Ripley challenged us to believe it or not.
Believe it or not, you.
Wally, believe it or not.
Believe it or not.
Believe it!
You're a loony.
There is an Australian band called The Beards. Every single one of their 38 songs is about beards. Believe it Or not. In Australia, more people are killed by kangaroos than sharks. Believe it or not. In 1922, a herd of cattle in Devon, England, chased a wanted fugitive out of their field and into the hands of nearby police. Believe it or not. Some police motorcycles in 1920s had a jail sidecar. Believe it or not. In 1958, Bruce Lee became the Crown Colony Cha-Cha dancing champion of Hong Kong. Believe it or not. In 2024, Vermont State University honored cat Max, the popular feline, with the title of Doctor of Literature. Believe it or not. The George Washington statue in Trafalgar Square, London, stands on a base filled with soil from Virginia, honoring Washington's promise to avoid British soil. Believe it or not. Julia Butterfly Hill lived in a 1,000-year-old tree for 2 years to save the forest from loggers. Believe it or not. In 1954, in a letter to a magazine, Albert Einstein admitted to wanting to be a plumber. Believe it or not. Elephants have such good hearing that they can hear clouds. Believe it or not. At least 12,000 bikes are pulled out of Amsterdam's canals annually. Believe it or not. Each year on November 29th, the Netherlands residents put pancakes on their head in honor of Dutch Pancake Day. Believe it or not. In 2024, the White House directed NASA to establish a new time standard for the moon by 2026, known as Coordinated Lunar Time, or LTC. Believe it or not. Michael Jackson wanted to play Jar Jar Binks in the Star Wars prequel trilogy. Believe it
I believe that.
or not.
Love Jar Jar.
The sound of Kylo Ren's force powers in Star Wars The Force Awakens was created by altering the sound effect of a cat purring. Believe it or not.
Looks just like him.
In 2024, researchers using NASA's James Webb Space Telescope identified the required chemical ingredients for a margarita surrounding 2 young protostars. Believe it or not. Before launching his Hollywood career, actor Sylvester Stallone cleaned lion cages at the Central Park Zoo in New York. Believe it or not. Dave McPherson was Disneyland's first visitor and given a lifetime ticket when he used it regularly from 1955 until he passed in 2018.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Parts of Jurassic World were filmed at the abandoned Six Flags theme park in New Orleans. Believe it or not. So that was the believe it or not, and I messed up a couple of times, but let's try our one-liners. Okay, here we go. I worry about ridiculous things. You know, how does a guy who drives a snowplow get to work in the morning? That can keep me awake for days. People say, "Oh, Pa, you're an optimist." And I say, "I hope so." Life is like a box of chocolates. It doesn't last long if you're fat. I said to the gym instructor, "Can you teach me to do the splits?" He said, "How flexible are you?" I said, "I can't make Tuesdays." I don't like country music, but I don't mean to denigrate those who do. And for the people who like country music, denigrate means put down.
Not Democrat.
Chopsticks are one of the reasons the Chinese never invented custard. Huh. Beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. Small, large, circle, square, thin crust, thick crust, stuffed crust, extra toppings.
Extra cheese?
I almost had a psychic girlfriend, but she left me before I met.
Wow.
When I turned 2, I was really anxious because I doubled my age in 1 year. I thought, if this keeps up, by the time I'm 6, I'll be 90. If you were going to shoot a mime, would you use a silencer? I installed a skylight in my apartment. The people who lived above are furious. I went to the doctor and said, "Have you got anything for wind?" He gave me a kite. If you can't lose... Sorry, let's try that again. You can't lose a homing pigeon. If your homing pigeon doesn't come back, then what you lose is a pigeon. Why do dogs race to the door when the doorbell rings? It's almost never for them.
Joking, normally do. That's funny.
I bought some instant water, but I didn't know what to add. If Barbie is so popular, why do you have to buy her friends?
Oh, that's true.
If you tell a joke in a forest and nobody laughs, is it a joke? Do you think when they asked George Washington for an ID, he just whipped out $1?
Yeah.
I was arrested for lip-syncing karaoke. Let's try that again. I was arrested for lip-syncing karaoke. Okay.
I like karaoke.
Karaoke? Yeah, right.
It's like car karaoke.
Okay, so let's try the funnies now. All right. Give me a second here. And now they'll go about their business not realizing they're being tracked.
That's true.
Well, that would certainly explain why he let 3 of us on board. I give thanks for the cat.
Better.
Fake injury drills. Come on, make me believe it. Book signing by the author of My Time on the Wall, Everything I Heard and Saw. You know, if we were just going to run anyways, don't you think it'd be a lot easier if we didn't carry this huge stone car all the time?
That's a good point.
Here we go. Don't you think an intertube is a rather odd last request? Here comes Elmer. I'm sure he'll stick around for a while. Although an unexplained phenomena, there is a place on the outskirts of Mayfield, Nebraska, where the sun doesn't shine. Excuse me, but I was told to stick this thing here. How the first pyramid got started. Here's the paperweight you ordered, Pharaoh. Not big enough. Build it bigger until I tell you to stop. Oh no! We're getting threatening tweets from the lions. And tigers. And bears. Oh my. I never play with them, of course. I'm strictly a collector.
That's true. We got a whole box of them.
There you go. And lose a goatee. You look ridiculous. Famed critic signs copies of his book today. Your judgment will be recorded for quality assurance. For sale: pickaxe, shovel, crowbar, metal cutting saw, night vision goggles. Used once, good condition. Hey Dad, we want to play Arby before we go to bed. Can we have our toy medals back? I will not eat anything that once had a soul. Not a problem. He was a lawyer. Shipwrecked doctors. No one can write the word help legibly. We tried to do our best, sir, but you were mean and rude. How you'd like your dinner? We all spit in your food. Hey!
It's my worst fear.
No, I don't think a squeaky toy breaks your vow of silence.
It should.
A 40-day cruise? Just the 2 of us without the kids. Oh, Harold, this might be the best vacation ever. I hope it doesn't rain. What a lousy trip. It rained the whole time.
Can't win them all.
Whatever happened to all the good jungle gyms and monkey bars from when we were kids? Climb it. Change is real. Stop it! You're gonna make my homework come out of my nose. You'd have more friends if you didn't correct their mistakes all the time. Whiteout. He sure loves fresh litter.
Oh, that's like okay.
They're not ready for pyramids. Let's come back in a million years. We'd love to join you for a bite to eat, but we're stuffed. Who said that? Taco emergency. Call 911. Two-pack of M&Ms for 50 cents. That's ludicrous. Ain't no biggie, though. I'm getting stronger with age. I can now lift $100 worth of groceries with one hand.
Yeah.
I don't know who needs to know this, but even if a bear wears socks and shoes, he still has bare feet. Good evening, it's 6 o'clock, and here's what we want you to think.
Yeah.
And that concludes another Opa's Corner.
Can name that Elvis song, you'll win the prize. Opa, I'm curious, why did you pick the live stream one?
It was our 100th episode.
Oh, interesting. Well, thank you both for another great Opa's Corner. Now, a quick word from our good friend, Kristen. Are you a content creator, podcaster, or show host trying to do it all on your own? Booking guests, moderating chats, creating timestamps, and scheduling interviews? It's exhausting. That's where Kristen and Fellow Helper Agency comes in. Kristen is the ultimate behind-the-scenes pro. She makes sure your show runs smooth from start to finish. Whether it's securing an amazing guest, keeping your community engaged, or handling the scheduling chaos, you can count on her. Imagine focusing on creating great content while Kristen takes care of all the rest. Professional, reliable, and trusted. If you're serious about growing your show and building your audience, you need Kristen on your team. Visit fellowhelperagency.com today because the right help changes everything. Shout out to Kristen. Okay, so it's time for an all-new History's Mysteries. So today for History's Mysteries, we're going to be talking about one of Reddit's most dark and disturbing confessions. It's this particular Reddit user made a confession to a murder that, also was an unsolved crime. And so we'll be getting into it. So let's play this first clip.
Reddit, among other platforms on the internet, are home to tons of first-hand accounts and stories, most of which are unverifiable. Having a degree of anonymity grants people a certain level of comfort that makes them much more likely to share things that they would otherwise keep to themselves. It certainly is true that people love to talk, and certain people love to talk for attention, but sometimes it's hard to determine the motive behind a certain post. As an onlooker, A healthy amount of skepticism can be useful when determining whether or not a Reddit thread is worth your time, but occasionally, one such circumstance can leave you questioning just how real a post is. Just to clarify though, Reddit is absolutely no stranger to trolling and instances of elaborate fiction, but in this case today, this mystery doesn't seem to add up in the way of fiction. In today's video, we're going to take a look at one such Redditor who seems to have shared a bit too much information about their past. On January 21st, 2016, a post on Ask Reddit would gain quite a bit of attention. It was aptly titled, "To those who have accidentally killed someone, what went wrong?" This Reddit thread got over 6,800 upvotes and over 10,000 comments, and the most notable is from a now deleted Reddit user, whom, after posting this comment, almost immediately deleted their account. This post in question read the following: "This still haunts me to this day. As kids, we had a hideout in this dirt cliff/cove. This is the best approximation I can find on Google, only 3 times taller and probably about 10 times as wide. There was a neighborhood kid who, in hindsight, was probably mentally handicapped in some way, but to us, he was just the weird creepy kid. This was the 80s and we weren't exactly raised PC. 3 of us were headed to our base and we found the creepy kid sitting at the top of our guard chair. We yelled at him to get out and he said something like, 'Make me,' and started lobbing dirt clods and sticks down at us. We all ran around the side to make our way up. It gets pretty fuzzy here, but all I remember is he fell. I still remember the sound. When we got back down to check on him, he was in a very awkward position with blood coming out of his mouth. We all just freaked out and ran home. And as far as I know, no one has ever spoke a word of this to anyone. We didn't go back for over a month and never said a word of it between us." Again, this was the 80s, so media wasn't like today. Chances are it got a small article in the newspaper B section, like something like "Missing mentally disabled child found dead after fall," or something like that. In case you were wondering what the photo was that was linked in the original post, I will show it here. It just seems to show a cliff with a dirt trail in a somewhat rural area. However, it does not give away too many details for the average onlooker. What sparks this entire controversy is from a comment from the username AD33BBF9 when they chimed in. This user, well, I have to paraphrase here, essentially asked the original poster if this story was about Scott Cleeschulte. Interestingly enough, thereafter, the original poster goes on to delete their entire account. If we take a moment to Google Scott Cleeschulte's case, we get a very disturbing account of events surrounding his disappearance. According to VT.co, on August 6, 1988, 9-year-old Scott Allen Cleeschulte vanished. It was the last day of school for pupils at Coverdale Elementary School. Cleeschulte had just completed the 1st grade. Owing to his learning difficulties, he came home from school to change his clothes, then wandered off into the nearby woods to play. He was last seen around 4:30 p.m. in his hometown of St. Charles, Missouri, walking down Ken Drive towards West Adams from his family house on Laverance Drive. Sometime after leaving, a violent storm appeared over St. Charles, drenching the area in wind and rain. Cleeschulte was never seen again. The boy's disappearance sparked a massive search effort. Bloodhounds tracked Cleeschulte's path for 5 miles northeast before the dogs lost his scent. Police searched tunnels and caves in the area and the drenched nearby streams and creeks in an effort to locate the body. However, nothing was found. Something to note here is that a large storm occurred directly after this boy went missing, which would directly explain why an individual child's body was never found. People are still searching for this boy to this day. There hasn't ever been any closure in this case.
So this second clip is a very interesting story, but the second clip is all about how the missing person or murder victim was reported on by the Nancy Grace Show. It's not actually by Nancy Grace, but it's the Nancy Grace Show and what the official story says. So let's play that clip.
There's been a Nancy Grace profile featuring the brother doing an interview. Let's take a look.
As far as I know, family and friends would have been my older sister Stacy before she had left for work and stuff. And she was there when he had come home and changed after school and that. So as far as I know, it was Stacy.
And what did Stacy see?
He was, the last time she had seen him, he was at the top of the hill just playing, running around, being a kid like we did. You know, I know people say not to play in the streets, but that's where we played, up at the top of the street. And that's where he was.
And this was a fairly urban but rural area, too. You were sort of out in the country, right, where kids just could feel free to play?
Yeah, it was a neighborhood. I mean, it was a neighborhood full of 100 kids probably in the neighborhood, but, you know, right 5 minutes from our house was nothing. Farmlands and fields. And and dirt trails and stuff like that.
How violent was that storm late afternoon? And did you think your brother had just hidden to have cover?
Yeah, it was a pretty bad storm. You know, it just came and went pretty quick. You know, I don't think he hid necessarily, like hid somewhere. We just assumed that he was inside someone's house, you know, playing inside with another friend. You know, and that's just kind of then started knocking on doors, on every door we could.
When did your parents finally call police?
It was later in the evening. I can't, you know, I'm not for sure on the time, 8, somewhere around there. It was, you know, before it had gotten dark.
And I understand they came right out.
Yeah, they were there right away, yes.
So what did they do that evening and the next day and the next few days and the next week?
That night, I'm not, you know, it's pretty vague for me because I was young. So that night, you know, I can't remember exactly what they did. But that next morning was full-fledged. They had a search party set up with dogs and helicopters and horsebacks and you name it, you know, anything.
So that adds a lot more credibility to the Redditor and the Reddit post with this particular case. Now we're going to be getting into the third and final clip of this particular story, and then I'll get Jake and Opa's opinion on, was this a troll or was this real? So check this out.
Now let's try and take a look at a map and piece together this situation from a Reddit thread and create a new hypothesis. From another source in this case, we can see exactly where Scott was last spotted by a neighbor. Scott was last seen not far from his home in the 3300 block of LeBaron's Drive, near a wooded area known as the Trails. It was just before a fierce thunderstorm swept through the area. As long as 6 weeks after his disappearance, police conducted large-scale searches of the area near Scott's home. The searches involved digging at a labyrinth of caves in the wooded hillside where Scott was known to play with the other neighborhood children. If we take a look at where this kid was last spotted, it doesn't make much sense as the area of the land has been developed since the 1980s. One user on another Reddit thread named Paramecia Antic posted the following. The location that is now Fox Hill Park in St. Charles had dirt trails and several steep gorges cutting through it in the 1990s. It's a little over a mile by foot from the last sighting of Scott Cleaschulte. Route I-370 wasn't built then, so it was accessible by foot. Today, it has been graded somewhat and has stormwater management areas, but you can still see the cliffs that remain. A deep ravine is seen directly in the direction as the child was walking, which seems to put forth a reliable location as to where this child could have fallen, which makes this entire story seem much more believable. The only thing I will say that seems to contradict this, though, is the fact that this boy's scent was followed for 5 miles where this location was only 1 mile away. Now, I want to also point out another lead regarding this case that dates all the way back to 2007, but it's weak to say the least. According to VT.co, the last fresh lead in this case was in 2007 when investigators began looking into Michael Devlin for a possible involvement in several missing children cases, including the 1991 disappearance of Charles Arlen Henderson and the 2005 disappearance of Bianca Piper, after Sean Hornbeck, a 15-year-old boy who disappeared in 2002, and William Ownby, a 13-year-old boy who was abducted in 2007, were discovered to have been held captive in Devlin's house. Devlin ultimately pled guilty to charges of kidnapping and child molestation and was sentenced to life in prison. Despite repeated interrogations by a special task force, no evidence was found implicating Devlin in the disappearance of Scott Cleaschulte. I can't understand why Michael Devlin would be seen as a lead regarding Scott if he had already been sentenced to life in prison. If no evidence was found linking him together, why is this seen as a likely lead on the internet? It doesn't make sense in my opinion. In conclusion, I see the events surrounding this to be incredibly specific. All the details surrounding the initial post to the now deleted Reddit account all point to this specific case almost down to every detail. The only thing that seems out of place are the location of the body, which was never turned up, and the scent going on for 5 miles. However, both of these things seem to be explained away pretty perfectly by the large torrential storm. Here is an excerpt from a website regarding training dogs to track scents after rain. It reads the following. People wonder if dogs can track in rain, and the answer is yes. Rain will wet the scent and refresh it, but a big storm with torrents of rain will ruin the scent trail, as will heavy winds. Also, if an extensive search was done, then something must have turned up. However, I will say that it wouldn't be the first time a search for a missing person has overlooked something. Now, with the years gone by, it's almost impossible to locate any remains, even if they are buried underneath the now developed area. If this account is true, and they're not just trolling with specific details to this case, then this is really disturbing. This family has been looking for their child and trying to gain some kind of closure for over 30 years. And to think that someone has this stored in the back of their memory is really unnerving. I honestly doubt, though, that someone's going to come forth at this point. And seeing how long ago this was, launching a full-scale investigation is next to impossible, especially with the date being so far in the past. For now, though, assuming this is true, or there is some merit to this post, this may be the best explanation to what happened to Scott Gleeschulte.
Like, do you think it's a troll? Do you think it's a real Reddit confession? What are your thoughts?
I think things like that probably happen all the time, and it makes me wonder if somebody maybe was making up like a Reddit thing and they just hit the nail on the head somewhere, sometime, just by trying to, fabricate a story, or perhaps they were explaining the disappearance of that young boy, which is kind of terrible. Man.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Opa?
I think that it was probably somebody who had a guilty conscience for 30 years and, found that Reddit website and, started to confess and then decided, no.
Started to vent.
And
yeah.
Deleted it.
Yeah, I could see that too. I know there's a pretty interesting case that I'm thinking about covering about Howard Stern when he used to be funny, like back in the day, where a serial killer calls in and they think they know who it is kind of now, but I don't know. But I'd love to know what you guys think at home. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if it's a hoax or if it's a real confession. So it's time to laugh a little, guys. It's always time to laugh after something so serious and so heartbreaking as a missing child, right? So it's time for a new and improved volume 34. Please excuse my sense of humor. And if you laugh at any of the jokes, tell me the joke in the comment section. And if you get offended, I'm sorry you can't take a joke. So let's roll it.
Question is, who is Michelle Obama? Is she really a woman? Is she a man? Especially when every time I look at Michelle or Michael Obama, the first lady or the first tranny.
We got first and last names of 6 witches that are in our church. And you know what's strange? 3 of you are in this room right now. Three of you in the room right now. You better look in my eyeballs. We ain't afraid of you, you stinking witch. You devil-worshiping Satanist witch. We cast you out in the name of Jesus Christ. We break your spells. We break your curse. We got your first name. We got your last name. We even got an address for one of you. You so much as cough wrong, and I'll expose you in front of everybody in this tent, you stinking witch. You were sent to this church to destroy us. You were sent to this church to lure us in. You were sent to this church to cast spell. Listen, some of you been sick because you befriended that witch.
But before we start, we must carry on the tradition. Please rise if you're able. We are Charlie. All right, ready? That's a clip. But before we start, we must carry on the tradition. Please rise if you're able.
I put some of these in the later on. what they're making fun of.
But before we start, we must carry on the tradition. Please rise if able.
We do this in our household. Just kidding.
We are Charlie Card. We carry the. Okay. Before we start, we carry on the tradition. Okay. Please rise if you're able. Okay. We are Charlie Card. We carry the flame.
It's the Lord's Day. I got my Bible. I'm ready to hear the word.
And so we're going to sing that together this morning. Would you stand with us in body or in spirit? I want to warn the parents in the audience that there might be a swear word, but we will only do it one time. And we actually bleep it out the other times. But we are gonna sing it one time for emphasis about how gay we are. Here we go.
'Cause I'm freaking gay. Thank God for that. Christians cast me out, but Jesus has my back. I'm freaking gay. Thank God for that. Christians cast me out, but Jesus has my back. And we're freaking gay. Thank God for that. Christians cast us out, but Jesus has our
Nope. They're demons. They're frickin' interdimensional invaders, okay? I'll just say it. Make fun of me all you want on CNN or wherever, but everyone already innately knows this. These people are not frickin' humans, okay?
Oh, no. No, that didn't hurt. Listen, it's because you were running like a fairy. Now you're crying. Look, don't run like a... Don't go like this. Go like this. We run like this. Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
It's my new Roman salute cap. Copyright.
Happy Thanksgiving. We have some succulent pot roast, some ham, some great turkey, some sweet potatoes or yams, some greens, and some succotash. We also have some dressing or stuffing, some buttery rolls, some mashed potatoes. We also have this great mac and cheese that looks buzz.
If I pick up my phone and send out a tweet, if I say good morning, within minutes I will have hundreds of blatantly anti-Semitic responses.
Drug dealers, drug lords.
And that's just the ones that have been accounted for.
Correct. People from mental institutions.
What do you think the strategy is?
Hundreds of thousands of major criminals.
Sitting there at Thanksgiving, you're staring across the table at somebody. And they're just like, do you want the baked beans? And you're like, I think I know who killed Charlie Kirk. There was a second shooter. There was 12 Israeli cell phones. Somebody's like, do you want the baked beans? And you're like, not if you think we can land it on the moon. I don't. I'm like, okay, all right. Get your own sides then.
That's very interesting. We're going to have to come over to your house and kill you. No two ways about it.
And there's no one there to tell them. You poop in the toilet. Not on the floor. And you don't want to tell them because that's racist.
They also studied the way gay and straight people talk.
Hi, it's nice to meet you. Would you like to have a drink?
Sounds straight to me.
And it's straight. Hi, it's nice to meet you. Do you want to go have a drink?
Gay.
Ling Ling, what do you do for a living?
I'm a pirate.
Oh, do you rob ships and stuff?
No, I'm a pirate. I fly airplanes.
Oh my goodness, all right.
You're not going to have diarrhea any longer. You are not going to have diarrhea any longer. And now, Holy Spirit of the living God, let the gifts of healing flow into that woman. Go into those legs and arms, into the organs of the body, into that female area.
What's the matter?
I've been getting death threats.
You mean death threats?
Not this time.
Once again, you are done me. You are done me on your way along. Done.
We are Charlie Kirk.
This is what I'm talking about. This is like a real thing. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We will fight for the gospel. We know his name.
Chew on every topic.
as a quote faggot. It's a faggot. The word
I made this
faggot.
one,
Would you
guys.
say the word faggot on camera? No, but it's a magic word. Faggot?
Yeah.
I just did.
Yeah, but would you use it?
Faggot. Say, I love gay people. Faggot. I can use any freaking word I want. Okay, whatever. I
Dare
give
you be
up.
so sexist? I don't believe you would call a gay person a faggot to their face.
Not in a mean way. The only people I ever hear use the word faggot are gay.
Right.
Ever. And I have spent a lot of time around gays.
Really?
Faggot! He's a faggot! I'd be like, ah. So it's cool. I don't believe in universal rights either. I think certain standards should apply to certain people based on their blood.
What? I would say the same to gay people. If you constantly use the F word in your own...
What's the F word?
Well, you know what? We've just been saying it. If you want to keep you keep saying it. I'm not going to keep saying it.
It's worse than isn't it? From a straight person, but not from the gay person? Is it really about words? I guess that's kind of what I'm saying.
Because I think it empowers people who are genuinely racist or homophobic to then use those words.
Okay, they're genuinely racist and homophobic. I don't care. Why don't you pick up the trash? Okay, that's kind of how I feel. And stop letting people from countries where they can't speak English come to your country by the millions, like, because we're against the Nazis, right? So there's that. Instead, we're arresting that girl for saying faggot.
Well, the two things...
Or as we say here, the F word.
Yeah,
Does she look like a faggot user to you? She looks too nice. They're making me want to say that because it's so outrageous that you would arrest someone for a word.
I agree.
Then help me now. Hold my hand. We're going to say faggot together. You ready? Do you say gay and retard? Do you say gay and retard?
I say gay. I wouldn't use the R word. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't.
To abort a Down syndrome baby? I actually don't use the N word ever because I think it's ugly. I actually think that we should not kill people because they have Down syndrome. I think they're beautiful people. And I think when you get to heaven, it'll probably be filled with people with Down syndrome because they are pure in spirit. And I'm not joking even a tiny bit. I really believe that because I'm using the word retard. That's all I'm saying.
When people call you racist, but you're just a Power Rangers fan. Looks nothing different than Elon. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Jake, what was your favorite one?
Well, now because he showed the Power Ranger, that shows that cat was like a cat Power Ranger, a cat ranger.
The Cat Ranger, yeah. Opa, what was your favorite?
I still like the little kid running around like a fairy.
Oh, you don't like the "We Are Charlie Kirk"? I didn't understand that the first one until, the dad, please rise if you're able. I didn't understand that until Lindsay started sending me all these. And she was just cracking up watching them because they're all like, I feel like they're trying to turn him into like the Messiah, kind of. Like they're treating him like, it's so weird. I don't like it. It's like it's a white version of George Floyd is exactly what it is.
Yeah, both sides have their hero.
Yeah. And we are a channel that, we don't not like people, but we like to make fun.
Do you know why that is, Jeremiah?
Why what?
Because we are Charlie Kirk.
We are Charlie Kirk. Please rise if you're able. Opa, you can stay seated. No, we won't do it here. We'll do it when we see each other in person. All right, well, that's all I got, guys. Thank you, Jake, for another great current news. Opa, thank you for another great Opa's Corner. I hope you enjoyed today's History's Mysteries and the episode as a whole. Stay awake, not woke, subscribe, and stay tuned. And we are Charlie Kirk. If you like what we do here on Skiba News Nation, please like and subscribe. And also share with others so we can grow the biggest truth-seeking community on the internet. Huge shout out to all of our Patreons out there. If you like bonus content, you want some extra Skiba News Nation stuff, please go to patreon.com/Skiba News Nation.
Son of the legendary Jeremiah Skiba.
It's like they don't even want to wake up.
He's on a quest for truth.